Welcome back to Pathways to Wealth. In this episode, we're talking about 18 secrets of highly successful millionaires. So ever since I started my first business when I was 16, I've done everything I can to surround myself with successful people. And a lot of those people are multimillionaires. And one thing that I noticed is that a lot of those highly successful people have common traits. And what I've found is that anybody can duplicate their actions and follow in their footsteps. So let's go through those 18 common traits right now. The first common trait that I noticed is that multimillionaires are highly motivated. They have an internal purpose or a reason for doing what they're doing. It's either they want to make a lot of money for themselves, they want to support their family and give their kids and maybe their spouse a better life than they had growing up, or it could be something like changing the world. But anybody that does anything on a large scale is highly motivated to do so. So I would encourage you, if you are interested in starting a business or have a strong desire to become a millionaire, don't focus so much on the money, but focus on the process of what you're trying to achieve and become highly motivated. Okay, now the second trait of highly successful millionaires is they are obsessed with solving problems. They spend a lot of their times thinking about problems, but not in like the typical way that most people do. Maybe you have that friend that just likes to complain and talk about problems, but there's never a solution. It's just, man, I wish Obama would fix this, or I wish, the government would fix this road, or I wish this restaurant would do this. Instead of just complaining, highly successful people look at things that aren't working or that could improve and think, how can I fix that? So my suggestion would be just to start on a daily basis, think about problems that you can solve. Get creative every day. Like James Altucher says, exercise your idea muscle. Think of 10 ideas on a particular topic. So if there's an industry you're in, think of 10 problems that you have in that industry, or 10 things that could be done better. If you're in real estate, I can name off hundreds of things, starting with the escrow and the closing process, right? There's so many things in the real estate market, from the way that transactions are done, that have been created decades or centuries ago, and there's just so much room for disruption. That's just one example, and I could talk for hours just about problem solving, but this really is probably one of the most common traits that I've noticed from highly successful millionaires. Number 3 is work hard. And it kind of goes without saying, but I want to make this explicit. I want to make this obvious that becoming a millionaire isn't about some get-rich-quick scheme. It's not about working hard for a couple days and then coasting on autopilot. Becoming a millionaire takes incredible effort. And my motto, the thing that I wake up thinking about, is ABH. If you guys have watched any of my live Periscopes, you know this is what I talk about all the time, is always be hustling. ABH. Every single day is an opportunity to move closer to your life missions, or a weaker way to say that is a way to move closer to your goals. But I wake up every day looking at my day as a battle, not in a bad way, but as an opportunity to go to war, so to speak, and create big leaps and bounds, to move really close and do at least one thing every single day that moves you closer to your life missions. Even if it's a Saturday or Sunday, make that phone call, put up that website, brainstorm 10 ideas. It doesn't matter what it is, but every single day, do at least one thing that moves you closer to those most vital missions in life. Okay, number 4 is work smart. And I love the quote by Stephen Covey where he says, most people spend too much time working on what's urgent and not enough time working on what's important. In our daily lives, there's so many things that get in the way and feel important because they're urgent. If you run a business, you might have somebody calling and complaining, or you might have an employee that's out sick, or you might have a piece of machinery that broke down. Those are all urgent things, right? Some of them may be more important than others, but where you can really begin to work smart is when you work on what's important, what's going to make big leaps and bounds over the long run that might not be screaming at you in this moment. So work smart. You have to work hard and work smart. A lot of people that I talk to, like new entrepreneurs, will say, well, Chris, I'm working smart, so I only need to work a couple hours a day. No, you're competing against entrepreneurs that are working hard and working smart. So when I talk about working hard, do as many things every day that'll get you closer to your life mission, but do them in a way that you're leveraging other people's talents and that you're not just spinning your wheels and focusing on what's urgent and not necessarily important. Okay, number 5, and one that I think is massively underrated, is read a lot. There's a reason why people like billionaire Warren Buffett read for, 5 hours a day? I personally read as much as I can in the shortest amount of time as I can. And in one of the past episodes, I talked about how you can read books in about 20% of the time. So if you haven't seen that episode, make sure to go back and take a look at it, because what that does is it allows you to read, say, 10 books in the time that it would take you to read one book. And the knowledge that you can gain by reading stuff even unrelated to your industry is really incredible. So I use the website Feedly. It's an iPhone app as well, but Feedly, where you can subscribe to a lot of the top blogs and news sources and resources and have them all in one spot and quickly get through that information. And the more you read, the more knowledge you're going to gain quickly. And a lot of times it could be that piece of knowledge that you need to take your business to the next level. Number 6 is to have a morning routine. A lot of the millionaires that I know have very specific things that they do as soon as their feet hit the ground in the morning. And I'm not perfect at this, but I try to wake up and have a series of things that kind of set up my day for success. So, for example, whenever I get up, I like to check a few things right away, right off on my list, the most important tasks that I have. I also like to take a protein shake within 30 minutes of waking up, 30 grams of protein in 30 minutes. What that does is it gets your metabolism kicking, and it also helps start to burn fat. And I notice that whenever I eat like a protein shake or some eggs really early in the morning, my energy level is able to sustain a lot longer. And I know it's kind of easy for entrepreneurs to kind of skip breakfast and just get right into work, but I think it's important to start with something like that. So no matter what your routine is, just really think it out. Think about every day when I wake up, how can I set myself up to be able to do the most important things throughout the day? And then number 7 is kind of the second part of that, is to have a daily plan or a schedule, just something to kind of guide your actions throughout the day. One thing that I like to do is track every hour where my time's going. Now, I don't obsess about this and I don't write a paragraph for every hour, but what I do is in Evernote, I have basically a number starting at like 7 a.m., 7, 8, 9, I just put a number, and then I put just a few words every hour on what I did during that hour, and it just keeps me on point, making sure that I'm focusing on time, which is, as people, as entrepreneurs, as just anybody, that's our most valuable asset, right? So I would encourage you, if you don't have a plan or a schedule, and you might be saying, well, Chris, in my business, it's hard to have a schedule. I can't necessarily plan out my day. And I get that. You know, depending on your industry or your business, your day you might be able to schedule appointments from start to finish, or it might be very reactionary where you're just reacting to what happens throughout the day. But either way, make sure you're tracking time. Number 8 is exercise. Guys, if your body doesn't work, if you're lethargic, your business is going to suffer. Your income is going to suffer. So I'll just tell you kind of what works for me. Whenever I wake up, I like to walk /run /bike, depending on the day, 3 to 5 miles. Just immediately kind of get the energy flowing. I also, as you might be able to tell right now, I have a stand-up desk. They say that sitting is our generation's smoking. Think about that. That's really powerful. Sitting will kill you. So if you find yourself sitting for 8 hours a day, get up. Get a stand-up desk. Walk around. If you're on the phone a lot, pace around your office, but don't just sit there all day. Also, I'm a fan of, like the 7-minute workout, high intensity interval training. If you're saying, well, Chris, I don't have time to go to the gym for 2 hours, I don't either. I like to do high intensity interval workouts where you can basically get your heart rate up, move your muscle groups, your major muscle groups, and get the most amount of workout in the shortest period of time. And number 9, don't be afraid to be different. It's easy to fall into the trap of looking at what your competitors and your peers are doing in your industry and saying, okay, I'm going to follow that. I'm going to see what they're doing and model that. Sometimes that's okay, but 99 or more % of the time, it's better to be the black sheep. It's better to go against the grain, against the herd. And I always like to repeat to myself, I say, anytime something is common knowledge, something's accepted as like wisdom, think about it for a second and try to poke holes in it. Why could it be wrong? Or how could it be improved on? Sometimes old concepts that are accepted as beliefs in your community or in your niche, maybe they're completely wrong, or maybe they just need tweaking or updating. What that does is, if you get in the habit of doing that, it just helps you start to think deeper and not just accept the status quo. So especially in business, if everybody's doing something, if everybody's zigging, maybe you should zag, and don't be afraid to stand out and be different. One thing I've noticed from some of the most successful entrepreneurs and investors that I know is they are constantly seeking ways to improve and to get feedback quickly. If they're looking at something and it's not quite working right, they say, okay, is this worth doing? Is this worth being patient, or should we pivot? We talked about that in one of the last episodes, the difference between patience and pivot. And they also look to get feedback on a constant basis. The worst thing that you could do as an entrepreneur, or one of the worst things you could do, is work on a project, put too much time and energy and resources and capital into something that has a high likelihood of failing. What you want to do is constantly tweak and improve what you're working on. Number 11, take responsibility for mistakes. There's so many variables in business and in life that it's easy to point fingers and blame outside circumstances, but just like the president of the United States or the CEO of a major corporation, the buck stops with you. You have to take ultimate responsibility for everything that happens in your business. And number 12, just like you need to take responsibility for your mistakes, don't dwell on them. Learn and move on. Number 13, and I think this is really important, don't hang around negative people. If you're at a certain level in life where you have a social circle that you're comfortable with, could be friends, family, colleagues, whatever, when you start to make big changes, immediately you're going to get attacked. You're going to have haters. You're going to have people that are afraid of losing you. You're going to have people that are afraid of getting left behind. So a lot of people are going to want to bring you down. They're going to want to give you reasons why what you're doing isn't possible, or why you're going to fail, or why you shouldn't screw up what you already have, right? And if you've ever started a business, you've probably experienced that sometimes from some of the people that are closest to you. So think of relationships as either nutrition, something that's going to give you life and help you take it to the next level, or poison, something that's going to kill you. And I know that sounds a little over the top, but it's true. Poisonous people are very toxic. They're going to suck the energy out of you. They're going to keep you at the same level and make you doubt why you're doing what you're doing. So at all costs, eliminate negative people from your life. Number 14 is highly successful millionaires tend to focus on one thing at a time. It's easy to become distracted by multiple ideas, but when it comes to execution, even guys like Richard Branson, who have built literally hundreds of companies under his brand name, know that you need to focus on a single task. Don't try to multitask or, go into too many things at once. Focus on one thing, do really, really well at that, and then move on. Number 15 is highly successful millionaires tend to surround themselves with people that are smarter and better than them at many things. As an entrepreneur, and Gary Vaynerchuk says this a lot, You have to have high self-awareness. You can't lie to yourself and fake yourself out and make you feel like you're a jack of all trades. Identify maybe the 1, 2, or 3 things maximum that you're really, really good at, and then hire people that are better than you at all different aspects and areas of your business. So if you're like a really disorganized person, hire a great administrative assistant that's better than you at that job. If you're not great at sales, hire great salespeople. If you're not a great manager, get a great manager. You know, you need to figure out what you're really, really good at, focus on those, and delegate everything else. 16, be comfortable making difficult decisions. I always say in trading, in investing, and in building a business, those 3 things are basically a game of mental Olympics. It's making one difficult decision after the other. And it's a muscle that you have to exercise. And there are studies that show that as the day goes on, as you run out of kind of physical and mental energy, it becomes harder to make difficult decisions. So what I like to do is, as soon as I start my day, figure out what is scary or what needs to be addressed that I'm trying to procrastinate, and jump right into those things and make quick decisions. A lot of times that'll save you months and years of floundering. Number 17, have a dream team. And this kind of goes back to the idea of hiring people that are better than you at certain things, but try to find the people that are the best. If you have a dream ideal for, a co-founder or a technical CTO or, a sales manager, find that person that fits exactly what you're looking for. And number 18, and this is more intangible, but I think it's really, really important, is to give back. There's a reason that Bill Gates and now Mark Zuckerberg just announced that he's giving away, 99% of his shares. If you focus on a bigger mission than just making money for yourself, a lot of times, once you get over that survivalist mentality and you have a bigger purpose that you're working towards and you're affecting other people's lives, it's going to motivate you to work even harder and smarter. And so my biggest philosophy in business and in life is do well, but give back. Don't be a hoarder because, again, that's only going to keep you at a certain level of mindset. If you really want to grow, if you want to do big things, and you want to get out of the mindset of just me, which can actually turn very depressing, focus on helping others, giving back, and you'll be amazed at how that'll change your business game. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. We have some incredible interviews coming up shortly. And also, thank you for all the feedback and the likes and the shares on these videos and podcasts and iTunes. The feedback has just been incredible, and I love where we're headed with this show. I started Pathways to Wealth, started thinking about it, about 18 months ago, and it developed into something where my mission in life is to help people create more income, build more wealth, and really upgrade the different areas in their life. And again, I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you, and please give me feedback. Leave ratings and reviews on iTunes. Leave me questions and comments on YouTube. I do my best to read every email and every comment that we get. So I'm just looking forward to where this show is heading. So far, it's an incredible start. Here we are, less than 20 episodes in, and it's already growing like mad. So I just wanted to say thank you, guys. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.